The rise of Shaq. From the streets of Newark to NBA glory, there are a few athletes in history whose sheer presence on the court could strike fear into the hearts of opponents. Shaquille O'Neal was one of those rare few. A towering giant with a heart to match his size, Shaq wasn't just a basketball player, he was a force of nature. But before he became the most dominant center the NBA had ever seen, before the world knew him as Shaq Diesel, he was just a young boy growing up in the tough streets of Newark, New Jersey. A boy who had already been shaped by hardship, loss, and an unyielding drive to succeed. Born on the 6th of March, 1972, Shaquille was the product of a broken home. His biological father, Joseph Tony, was often absent, battling his own demons with drugs and ultimately being imprisoned. Raised by his mother, Lucille, who was just 17 when Shaq was born, Shaquille's early life wasn't easy. But his stepfather, Sergeant Philip Harrison, stepped in to provide discipline and structure, enforcing military-style rules in their household. This kind of strict upbringing wasn't just about chores or respect. It was about survival in a neighborhood that didn't make it easy for young boys to succeed. As a kid, Shaquille faced his own struggles. Growing up in the North Newark projects, he was often bullied for his size. But rather than let this push him down, Shaq used his physical presence to his advantage. He found his voice through basketball, a game that didn't judge him for how tall he was or where he came from. Instead, it welcomed him with open arms, giving him a place to shine. Shaquille was already towering over his peers in high school, and it wasn't long before he made a name for himself on the court. But his rise to basketball stardom wasn't without obstacles. He would later reveal that he had brushes with the law, facing situations that could have led him down a darker path. But one night, everything changed. A trip to a New York Knicks game, where he watched the legend Julius Erving play, ignited a fire inside him. That night, he promised himself he would make it to the NBA, no matter the cost. Shaquille's journey took him to Louisiana State University, LSU, where his dominance on the court was unquestioned. He wasn't just a force in the paint, he was a physical specimen with a basketball IQ that would set him apart from his peers. But Shaq's physical gifts weren't enough to carry him through college without struggle. His time at LSU was marked by discipline issues and a lack of focus. He wasn't always the perfect student or teammate, but the NBA saw the raw talent. And in 1992, Shaquille O'Neal was drafted first overall by the Orlando Magic. When he entered the NBA, it wasn't just his size that shocked the world, it was his ability to move to dominate both ends of the court with power and finesse. Shaq quickly became a superstar, his name reverberating across the league. He was unstoppable, averaging 23 points and 13 rebounds per game in his rookie season, earning NBA Rookie of the Year honors. But as his rise to stardom continued, so did the toll on his body. The bigger the star, the bigger the target. His body, unlike most others, couldn't withstand the physical demands of the game. Yet, nothing could slow Shaq down. He had already set his sights on greatness, and he wasn't going to let anything stand in his way. But his NBA journey wasn't just about basketball. It was about the physical sacrifices he made, pushing his body to the limit, dealing with constant injuries, and using painkillers just to keep playing. This would become a recurring theme throughout his career. A sacrifice for greatness that would eventually take a serious toll on his health. Shaq's dominance in Orlando led him to Los Angeles, where he would team up with another young star, Kobe Bryant, to create one of the most iconic duos in NBA history. Together, they won 3 consecutive championships, solidifying Shaq's place in NBA legend. But along with his success came personal battles with teammates, coaches, and the media. Despite the controversies, Shaq remained the biggest personality in basketball, often overshadowing his own brilliance with his larger-than-life persona. However, as the years went by, Shaq's body began to break down. The constant wear and tear had its consequences. Injuries plagued him, particularly with his toes, knees, and hips. He had trouble staying in shape, and the wear on his joints left him with chronic pain. Yet, he continued to play, forcing his way through it all, not realizing the long-term damage it was doing to his body. So, what do you think of Shaq's journey so far? Was it all worth it, despite the physical cost? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Press 1 if you believe his sacrifices made him the greatest center ever, or press 2 if you think the toll on his body was too much. Don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories from the NBA. The next chapter will dive into Shaq's struggles off the court, including his divorce, the painkiller addiction, and the moments when the pain became unbearable. The price of greatness, Shaq's physical struggles. For all of his dominance on the court, Shaquille O'Neal's career came at a steep physical cost. A man built like a mountain, Shaq's size and power were his greatest assets, but they also became his greatest liabilities. As Shaq barreled through defenders, throwing down dunks that rattled arenas, his body bore the brunt of the NBA's demands, and the toll it took on him was far greater than most could imagine. Shaquille O'Neal wasn't just a player. He was a physical phenomenon. Standing at 7'1" and weighing nearly 325 pounds during his prime, Shaq was a force of nature, unstoppable in the paint, commanding the game with every move. His size made him nearly impossible to guard, and his power allowed him to dominate the post. But it wasn't just his physical presence that set him apart. Shaq's combination of agility and strength, rare for someone of his size, allowed him to move swiftly and explosively. However, this very combination would ultimately lead to his downfall. In his early years with the Orlando Magic, Shaq's body seemed indestructible. He played through the pain, shoulders sore from the constant pounding, knees aching, but he kept going. The intensity of each game, every dunk, every rebound left a mark on his body. But it wasn't until he joined the Los Angeles Lakers in 1996 that the true price of greatness began to reveal itself. Shaq's body had to adjust to a new level of expectation, and the wear and tear started to show. The first major injury that set the stage for Shaq's future troubles came during his time in Los Angeles, when he began to suffer from foot and ankle issues. A man of his size simply wasn't meant to carry that much weight on his feet for years. By the late 90s, Shaq's injuries were no longer just an occasional inconvenience. They had become a part of his reality. His toe injuries, in particular, would plague him throughout the remainder of his career. In 2000, during the peak of his dominance, Shaq started to experience knee pain that would linger for years. He famously said, "The bigger you are, the harder you fall," and with every collision and hard landing on the court, his joints and muscles took a beating. Despite this, he powered through. After all, this was Shaquille O'Neal, the unstoppable force of nature, the centerpiece of the 3 consecutive championships the Lakers would win between 2000 and 2002. But the physical cost of playing through the pain became too much to ignore. Shaq's joints, especially his knees and hips, began to wear down. His towering frame and the way he played, throwing his body into defenders, absorbing hits in the paint, was not sustainable in the long term. What followed was a cascade of injuries. By the end of his Lakers tenure, Shaq was struggling to stay in shape, battling through physical therapy and pain management to keep playing. The injuries caught up with him. Shaq eventually had to undergo surgery for a variety of issues, including toe surgery to fix his debilitating condition, but it was clear the damage had already been done. Each surgery took its toll. He was forced to use painkillers just to play through the pain, and while these drugs helped manage the injuries, they came with their own set of consequences. It wasn't long before the side effects of his reliance on pain medication began to show in his personal life. He became increasingly dependent on them to function, not just during games, but off the court as well. In his later years with the Miami Heat and then with the Phoenix Suns, Shaq was no longer the unstoppable force he once was. He couldn't move with the same fluidity, couldn't dominate the paint the way he had in his prime. Despite the decline in his physical abilities, he remained a key player. His basketball IQ, leadership, and size, still valuable assets. But his time in the NBA was winding down. The years of intense physical play had taken a toll on his body, and he was no longer the player who could go coast to coast, dunk over defenders, and block shots with the same ferocity. In his final years, Shaq began to focus on his health outside of the game. He lost over 50 pounds and started taking his fitness more seriously. The physical toll he had taken over his career was evident, and it was clear that basketball had affected more than just his playing style, it had impacted his entire body. Shaq opened up about his physical struggles after retirement, discussing the toll his career took on his kidneys, liver, and overall health. It wasn't just the injuries. It was the years of dealing with the consequences of pushing his body to the limit. Painkiller addiction, sleep apnea, and the struggles of dealing with long-term health effects were his reality now. So, what do you think? Was it worth it for Shaq to push his body to its limits, knowing the consequences? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Press 1 if you think Shaq's greatness outweighed the physical cost, or press 2 if you think the toll on his body was too much in the end. Don't forget to subscribe to get more insights into Shaquille O'Neal's incredible life and career. And stay tuned for the next chapter, where we explore the personal battles Shaq faced off the court, including his troubled relationships and personal scandal. The personal battles, Shaq's life beyond basketball. Shaquille O'Neal's journey wasn't just about basketball. While his dominance on the court is legendary, his life off the court was filled with as much drama, personal struggles, and difficult choices as any NBA game. From the breakdown of his marriage to battles with personal demons, Shaq's life outside of the arena was as complex as his basketball career was triumphant. In the late 90s, Shaquille O'Neal was at the height of his basketball career. He had won back-to-back NBA MVPs, led the Los Angeles Lakers to 3 consecutive championships, and was widely regarded as the most dominant player in the game. But while his basketball career was soaring, his personal life was starting to spiral. In 2002, Shaq's marriage to Shawnee Henderson, his longtime partner, began to face significant strain. Despite their marriage being a high-profile one, filled with the gloss and glamour of a famous NBA star and his wife, the cracks were becoming more visible behind the scenes. Shawnee had been with Shaq since his Orlando Magic days, and they had 4 children together. The couple's relationship, however, was overshadowed by Shaq's infidelity, a pattern that became difficult to ignore. It wasn't just about one instance. Shaq's affair with a woman that went public was only one of many reported. Shawnee, despite her best efforts to maintain a family, was dealing with the emotional toll of Shaq's action. In 2007, after years of strain, Shawnee filed for divorce. She cited irreconcilable differences and said she could no longer endure the toll that Shaq's infidelities and other personal issues had taken on their relationship. The divorce came as a shock to many fans, as Shaq had always projected an image of family stability. But beneath the surface, there were deeper issues that weren't being addressed. While Shaq's relationship with Shawnee was deteriorating, the drama surrounding his personal life continued to unfold. One of the most publicized incidents came in 2007 when Shaq was involved in a kidnapping case related to a sex tape that was later proven to be fabricated. This scandal only added to his growing list of personal controversies. Shaq had always been a larger-than-life figure, but these personal issues began to affect his public image. On top of that, Shaq's relationship with his former teammate Kobe Bryant was deteriorating in the early 2000s. The Lakers' 2 biggest stars were no longer on the same page, and the media loved to fuel the rivalry. Shaq and Kobe's public feud was one of the most talked about stories in the NBA at the time. The tension between the two was well documented, with both players taking jabs at each other publicly and through the media. Kobe famously said, "Shaq's lazy," and Shaq countered, calling Kobe the spoiled kid. The rivalry came to a head during the 2004 season when the Lakers were defeated in the finals by the Detroit Pistons. Shaq was traded to the Miami Heat after that season, ending the Lakers' dynamic duo. It was only after years of public criticism and a deep personal reflection that Shaq began to reconcile with Kobe. Before Kobe's tragic passing in 2020, the two stars had worked through their issues and their bond had been repaired. Shaq even referred to Kobe as his little brother in interviews. In the years before Kobe's death, the two had started to rebuild their relationship, and Shaq openly admitted that he regretted how their partnership had ended. Yet, despite all these public issues, Shaq remained incredibly resilient. His ability to bounce back after personal setbacks was one of the things that made him unique. He was able to recover from the divorce, the scandals, and the public scrutiny to continue to be one of the most successful players in NBA history. But it wasn't easy, and the emotional toll was evident. As he moved into his post-basketball life, Shaq found new avenues for success. He ventured into business, becoming an investor and entrepreneur. He had built a media empire and was a constant fixture on TNT's Inside the NBA, where his charismatic and entertaining personality helped him become a fan favorite once again. He also became a popular figure in advertising, using his larger-than-life persona to become a spokesman for various products. But behind the scenes, the scars from his past remained. His battle with depression was something Shaq was open about in interviews. After leaving basketball, he admitted that he struggled with the transition and found himself in a dark place mentally. However, Shaq didn't allow that to define him. He sought out therapy, and in time, he found a sense of peace with himself. So, what do you think? Does Shaq's ability to bounce back after his personal struggles make him even more impressive than his basketball career? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Press 1 if you believe Shaq's resilience off the court is just as legendary as his on-court performance, or press 2 if you think his personal struggles affected his legacy. Don't forget to subscribe for more on Shaquille O'Neal's incredible life journey. In the next chapter, we will dive deeper into his post-retirement years, his business ventures, and how he continues to shape his legacy. Shaq's reinvention, business, media, and legacy beyond basketball. After hanging up his sneakers in 2011, Shaquille O'Neal wasn't ready to fade into the background. While many athletes struggle to find their footing after retirement, Shaq's larger-than-life personality and entrepreneurial spirit led him to new heights in business, media, and philanthropy. The same drive that had made him an NBA legend now pushed him to reinvent himself, expanding his legacy beyond the basketball court. The first thing you notice about Shaq after his retirement is that he never truly left the spotlight. Whether it was on the TNT show Inside the NBA, where his chemistry with fellow analysts like Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith made him a fan favorite, or his ventures into various business opportunities, Shaq stayed relevant in a big way. His charisma and sense of humor made him a perfect fit for TV, and his larger-than-life presence commanded attention in the world of sports commentary. But media wasn't the only place where Shaq was making waves. He quickly turned his attention to business, leveraging his fame to invest in a wide array of ventures. He had always been a savvy businessman, but after leaving basketball, he went full throttle into building his empire. Shaq's business ventures. Shaquille O'Neal's investments ranged from real estate to franchises, and he built a diverse portfolio that spoke to his business acumen. One of his most notable investments was in Five Guys, a fast casual restaurant chain. Shaq didn't just invest in a few locations, he went all in, owning dozens of Five Guys franchises across the country. His success in this space showed that he was not just relying on his NBA name to get by. He was genuinely committed to growing his business venture. He also invested heavily in the fitness industry, owning multiple Gold's Gym franchises. Shaq's passion for fitness and health, combined with his public profile, helped elevate his business endeavors to new levels. His work in the world of fitness wasn't just about money. It was about showing that he was dedicated to a lifestyle of health and wellness, something that had become important to him after his post-retirement struggles with depression and weight management. Another significant investment was in Ring the Smart Doorbell Company. Shaq's foresight in investing in tech companies showed that he wasn't just a businessman looking for the next big thing. He was positioning himself to be part of the future, even in industries that were far removed from sports. Philanthropy. Throughout his career, Shaq had always given back to the community. His charitable endeavors were deeply personal, especially considering his own struggles growing up. Shaq was not the type of athlete who simply donated money and called it a day. He was hands-on, using his fame to raise awareness and directly engage with causes that mattered to him. Shaq's work with children's hospitals, education, and community development has made a lasting impact on thousands of lives. One of his most notable contributions was the founding of the Shaquille O'Neal Foundation, which aimed to provide educational opportunities and support to underprivileged children. Through his foundation, he has donated millions of dollars and countless hours to improve the lives of kids who were in situations similar to the one he found himself in growing up in Newark. The media empire. Of course, Shaquille O'Neal didn't just retire to a life of business and charity. His television career took off, and he became a beloved figure in sports media. As one of the co-hosts of Inside the NBA on TNT, Shaq became known for his humor, wit, and candidness. His chemistry with fellow analysts like Charles Barkley helped turn the show into a must-watch, not just for basketball analysis, but for entertainment. Fans looked forward to Shaq's antics, his playful rivalry with Barkley, and his larger-than-life personality on set. His ability to keep the audience entertained while offering genuine insights into the game made him a valuable asset to the show. He didn't just talk basketball, he became a part of the culture. Shaq's personality was impossible to ignore, and his time in the media cemented his place as one of the most beloved former NBA stars. He was no longer just a player on the court. He had become a cultural icon in the world of sports and beyond. Shaq's impact on the younger generation, even as he moved further away from the basketball court, Shaq's influence on the game remained undeniable. Younger players, including stars like Joel Embiid and Anthony Davis, often spoke about the impact Shaq had on their own career. He was a mentor in many ways, offering advice, sharing his experiences, and even showing a willingness to give back to the league that made him famous. Shaq's legacy was not just about the rings he won, but the mark he left on the generations that followed. So, what do you think of Shaq's life after basketball? Do you believe he's been as successful off the court as he was on it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Press 1 if you think Shaq's transition into business and media has been as legendary as his basketball career, or press 2 if you think he could have done more. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights into Shaquille O'Neal's incredible journey from basketball to business and everything in between. In the next chapter, we'll explore how Shaq continues to shape his legacy today. Shaq's legacy, a titan who transcended basketball. When we think of Shaquille O'Neal, we think of dominance. We think of an era when he was not just the best center in the NBA, but arguably the most imposing physical presence the game had ever seen. His career was defined by dominance on the court, but as we've seen in his post-retirement years, his legacy extends far beyond basketball. Shaq was never just a basketball player, he was a cultural phenomenon, and his influence continues to reverberate long after his final game. Shaquille O'Neal's legacy is not only measured in championships, MVP awards, and dominant playoff performances. His place in NBA history is cemented by his ability to reshape the way we think about centers, his ability to entertain, and his remarkable ability to connect with people both in and outside of sports. Shaq was a player who broke the mold literally and figuratively. His size was unprecedented, but it was his agility and skill that made him a truly unique force. The game had never seen anyone like him before, and it may never see another player quite like him again. But while Shaq's on-court achievements are legendary, his influence extends far beyond basketball. His business ventures, philanthropic efforts, and entertainment career have made him one of the most successful athletes of all time off the court. Shaq's legacy is multifaceted, and it all points to a man who was more than just a basketball player. He was a visionary, a mentor, and a trailblazer, breaking records and dominating the NBA. When we talk about Shaq's basketball legacy, there are a few things that immediately come to mind. First and foremost, Shaquille O'Neal was one of the most dominant forces the NBA has ever seen. He played for 6 different teams during his 9-year career, including the Orlando Magic, Los Angeles Lakers, Miami Heat, Phoenix Suns, Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Boston Celtics. But it was his time with the Lakers that truly solidified his place among the NBA's greats. Shaq was the driving force behind the Lakers' 3 consecutive championships from 2000 to 2002, a stretch during which he was named NBA Finals MVP every year. His ability to control the paint, dominate in the post, and draw fouls on virtually any defender made him nearly unstoppable. At his peak, he was averaging 30 points and 14 rebounds per game, numbers that were simply unheard of for a center. But Shaq's dominance wasn't just in the regular season, it was in the playoffs where he truly earned his place as one of the game's all-time greats. He led his teams to 4 NBA championships, solidifying himself as a player who could perform under pressure and deliver when it mattered most. And let's not forget the 2000 MVP award, when he was clearly the most dominant player in the league. No one in the NBA could stop him, not in the regular season, not in the playoffs, and certainly not in the final. A personality that transcended sports. While Shaquille O'Neal's on-court success is undeniable, it's his larger-than-life personality that has made him an iconic figure. Shaq was more than just a basketball player, he was a cultural ambassador. His charisma, humor, and confidence made him a fan favorite both in the US and abroad. Whether it was in the form of his famous Shaq-isms, his playful rivalry with Charles Barkley on Inside the NBA, or his hilarious commercials for everything from Icy Hot to the General Insurance, Shaq was always the center of attention, and people loved him for it. But what set Shaq apart from other athletes was his ability to be real. He didn't take himself too seriously. He understood the importance of entertaining the fans while still performing at the highest level. He never shied away from the spotlight, and he knew how to have fun with it. This was a man who made playing basketball look easy, even though the game was anything but easy. The business mogul, after retiring from basketball, Shaquille O'Neal didn't disappear from the spotlight. In fact, he became more active than ever, using his platform to build a media empire. His investments in companies like Five Guys and Ring, along with his ownership of Gold's Gym franchises, showed that Shaq wasn't just about basketball, he was a savvy businessman. His ability to spot opportunities and build a brand that extended well beyond the basketball court was a testament to his understanding of business and culture. In addition to his business ventures, Shaq became a key figure in sports media. As a host on TNT's Inside the NBA, his humor and perspective have made him one of the most beloved figures in sports commentary. His dynamic with Charles Barkley has become iconic, with the two engaging in playful banter that often steals the show. Shaq's work in the media has only solidified his position as one of the most influential figures in the sports world. Philanthropy and mentorship. Shaquille O'Neal has always been committed to giving back. His Shaquille O'Neal Foundation, which focuses on helping underprivileged children, has raised millions for various causes. His work with the Boys and Girls Clubs, his involvement in education, and his efforts to improve communities in need speak to his desire to make a lasting impact off the court. Shaq's commitment to philanthropy shows that his legacy isn't just about basketball, it's about making a difference in the lives of others. Moreover, Shaq has taken on the role of mentor to many younger players in the NBA. His willingness to share his knowledge and experience with the next generation of stars has helped many young players adjust to the demands of the league. He's not just a basketball legend, he's a role model for those who follow in his footsteps. So, what do you think? Has Shaq's legacy transcended basketball in ways you didn't expect? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Press 1 if you believe Shaq's impact off the court is just as legendary as his time in the NBA, or press 2 if you think his basketball dominance is what defines his legacy most. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates on Shaquille O'Neal's incredible journey, both on and off the court. In the next chapter, we will dive deeper into how Shaq continues to shape his future and what lies ahead for him as a businessman and mentor. Shaq's legacy today, still the king of the court and beyond. As we fast forward to today, Shaquille O'Neal is no longer just the man who dominated the NBA for over 2 decades. He's evolved into a global icon, a business mogul, a media personality, and a philanthropist. While his playing days on the basketball court are long behind him, his influence in sports and beyond remains undeniable. In his post-retirement life, Shaq continues to shape the culture using his voice, platform, and resources to make an impact in ways that few athletes ever managed to do. His unmatched charisma, combined with his business savvy, has allowed him to carve out a second act that's just as impressive as his NBA career, if not more so. Shaq the businessman, turning basketball success into financial empire. Shaquille O'Neal has proven time and time again that his business acumen is just as sharp as his skills on the court. Post-retirement, he's become a savvy investor, turning his post-NBA years into a successful venture beyond sports. One of his most notable investments has been his ownership of franchises. Shaq's investment in Five Guys turned out to be a brilliant move, allowing him to own dozens of locations. His interest in fitness also led him to own a significant number of Gold Gym franchises, further diversifying his portfolio. But his influence extends far beyond the restaurant and fitness industries. Shaq has also made smart investments in companies like Ring, the smart doorbell company, and JCPenney, demonstrating a broad, far-reaching vision for where he can make a difference. Shaq isn't just investing for profit, he's investing for impact. His investments often align with his personal values, whether it's fitness, technology, or community development. He also invested in real estate, making millions from commercial properties. These ventures helped him build a fortune beyond his basketball salary, earning him a spot on the Forbes list of billionaires. Shaq's success in business is a testament to his strategic thinking and his ability to use his name and influence to create opportunity. He's more than just a former NBA player, he's a visionary businessman looking for ways to expand his legacy. Shaq the media mogul, entertainment beyond the court. In addition to his business empire, Shaquille O'Neal's career in media has made him one of the most recognizable figures in sports entertainment. He's become a fixture on TNT's Inside the NBA, where his charismatic personality and playful chemistry with co-hosts like Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith have made the show a must-watch. Shaq's entertainment career doesn't stop there. He's appeared in numerous commercials, often bringing his signature humor and charm to the screen. Whether it's his hilarious ads for Icy Hot or his memorable roles in movies like Blue Chips and Scary Movie 4, Shaq's personality and comedic timing have made him one of the most sought-after personalities in the world of entertainment. But Shaq isn't just content with acting or sports commentary. He's also dipped his toes into the world of music. He released a rap album in the 90s, showcasing a different side of his creative expression. He may not have pursued a full music career, but his willingness to experiment with different media avenues shows how he continues to push boundaries even after retirement. Shaq's philanthropy, giving back to the community. One of the most powerful aspects of Shaquille O'Neal's legacy is his commitment to giving back to the community. Throughout his career and after retiring, Shaq has been deeply involved in philanthropic efforts, using his wealth and influence to make a positive impact on the lives of others. His Shaquille O'Neal Foundation focuses on supporting underserved children and communities, providing access to education, healthcare, and youth programs. Beyond his foundation, Shaq has always been passionate about giving back. His contributions to children's hospitals, his work with boys and girls clubs, and his efforts to support homeless shelters are just some examples of how he has used his platform for good. Shaq's generosity extends far beyond monetary donations. He's actively involved in mentorship programs, helping to guide the next generation of leaders and changemakers. One of his proudest moments was his partnership with the Boys and Girls Clubs. He regularly visits clubs, spends time with the kids, and encourages them to dream big. His presence serves as a beacon of hope for many young people, showing them that success is possible, regardless of where they come from. Shaq's dedication to improving the lives of others isn't just about writing a check, it's about using his own story to inspire. He often talks about his difficult upbringing and how basketball gave him the tools to escape a life of hardship. His work with underprivileged youth reflects his desire to give others the same opportunities he had. Shaq's mentorship, a guiding light for future generations. Another crucial part of Shaquille O'Neal's post-retirement life has been his role as a mentor. Throughout his career, Shaq's leadership on and off the court was undeniable. And now, as a retiree, he's taken on the role of guiding the next generation of players. He's been open about the importance of hard work, mental toughness, and adaptability values that helped him succeed on the court and that he now passes on to younger players. Shaq's influence has been felt by players such as Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis, and DeAndre Jordan, who have all spoken about the advice they've received from Shaq over the years. His willingness to help younger players, whether it's on skills development or navigating the pressures of being an NBA superstar, speaks to his commitment to leaving a positive mark on the game. So, Do you think Shaq's influence off the court is just as impactful as his basketball legacy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Press 1 if you believe Shaq's contributions to business, media, and philanthropy have made him an even bigger legend, or press 2 if you think his basketball legacy will always be the most important part of his story. Don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on Shaquille O'Neal's journey as he continues to inspire future generations and redefine what it means to be a legend. In the next chapter, we'll explore Shaq's ongoing battles with his health and his efforts to overcome the physical toll of his legendary career. Shaq's health struggles, battling the aftermath of a legendary career. Even legends aren't immune to the toll that time takes on the body. For Shaquille O'Neal, whose towering figure and indomitable presence dominated the NBA for nearly 2 decades, the price of greatness wasn't just about championships and accolades. It came in the form of chronic pain, injuries, and lasting physical damage. While he ruled the court with unmatched power and force, behind the scenes, Shaq's body was gradually breaking down due to the years of physical abuse it had endured. After retiring from basketball, Shaq's health became an ever-growing concern. Over the course of his career, the physical toll on his body was immense. He was no longer the agile, unstoppable force he once was. His body had begun to betray him in ways he never anticipated. The wear and tear of Shaq's body. From the very beginning of his NBA career, Shaquille O'Neal's body was subjected to an extraordinary level of stress. Standing at 7'1" and weighing over 325 pounds at his peak, Shaq was built like a wall, and he played that way. But the size that made him such a dominant force on the court also made him susceptible to a slew of injuries. As the years wore on, Shaq began to experience joint pain, particularly in his knees, hips, and toes. His foot injuries in particular became a major issue. Shaq's size and the physical demands of his playing style led to constant wear on his lower body, and the constant pressure on his feet ultimately led to surgeries, including toe surgery that he would later speak about in interviews. Despite these surgeries, his joints continued to give him trouble throughout his career, often limiting his mobility and affecting his performance on the court. But it wasn't just the joints. Shaq also struggled with muscle fatigue and general wear and tear from the constant pounding he took on both ends of the floor. His incredible strength and ability to dominate defenders in the paint came at the cost of his body's longevity. The painkiller dependency. As the injuries piled up, Shaquille O'Neal began relying on painkillers to manage the pain. While painkillers helped him continue playing and maintain his role as one of the most dominant players in the league, they also became a double-edged sword. The physical toll of taking painkillers, along with the pressure to play through excruciating pain, began to affect Shaq's personal life. By the time he retired, Shaq's health had significantly deteriorated. His physical condition had left him dealing with constant back pain, sleep apnea, and other long-term side effects from years of medication use. While the painkillers helped manage the immediate physical pain, they also came with serious health consequences. Shaq himself has been candid about his struggles with medication, acknowledging that he had become somewhat dependent on painkillers during his career. As he reflected on his NBA years, he admitted to feeling the lasting effects of his reliance on drugs to keep playing. In his post-retirement years, Shaq became increasingly aware of how his health had been affected by his playing days. He began to prioritize his wellness, aiming to lose weight and improve his overall physical condition. Shaq lost over 50 pounds in an effort to reduce the strain on his body. He began focusing on fitness more than ever before, not just to stay in shape, but also to preserve his health for the long term. His commitment to fitness was not just about shedding pounds, it was about gaining control over his body after years of neglect. Health challenges after retirement. As Shaq transitioned into retirement, the physical toll of his career became more evident. He dealt with the long-term effects of his injuries and his dependence on painkillers. His sleep apnea, a condition that worsened over time, began to have a profound impact on his daily life. Shaq was very open about how he struggled with poor sleep and fatigue, and he took steps to address it. On top of the sleep issues, Shaq also faced liver and kidney problems due to the prolonged use of painkillers. He was no longer able to rely on his body the way he had in his prime, and the consequences of his previous decisions started to catch up with him. It became a wake-up call, one that led Shaq to focus on his health and wellness in ways he hadn't before. In interviews, Shaq has admitted to being in denial about how much damage he had done to his body during his career. He didn't want to face the reality that the toll of playing professional basketball had left him with lasting physical scars. But as his health began to deteriorate, Shaq realized that he needed to take control. He began focusing on regular exercise, healthy eating, and therapy to try and reverse some of the damage. He also opened up about his struggles with mental health, speaking candidly about how he battled depression after retirement, partly due to the difficulty of adjusting to life without basketball. A new chapter of health and wellness. Despite these challenges, Shaquille O'Neal's approach to his health today is all about recovery and resilience. As a former athlete, he understands the physical and emotional challenges of his career. Now, he's using his platform to educate others about the importance of taking care of their bodies and mind. Shaq has become an advocate for mental health and wellness. He often speaks about the importance of therapy and staying in good physical shape, not just to look good, but to feel good. He also encourages other retired athletes to confront their health issues and take proactive steps to ensure a healthy future. Shaq's journey from pain to healing is a testament to his strength and determination to move forward, even when facing his toughest battle. What do you think of Shaq's journey with his health? Do you believe his willingness to open up about his struggles makes his legacy even more inspiring? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Press 1 if you think Shaq's battles with health have made his post-retirement years even more impactful, or press 2 if you think he should have done more to protect his body during his career. Don't forget to subscribe for more on Shaq's incredible transformation from dominant NBA player to business mogul and health advocate. In the next chapter, we will dive deeper into his current role in the NBA world and how he continues to influence future generations of players. Shaq's influence on future generations, a legacy beyond the game. As time passes, Shaquille O'Neal's legacy continues to grow, but it isn't just defined by his dominant years on the court. What truly sets him apart as a legend is his enduring influence, not just in the NBA, but in the wider sports world. Even as young athletes rise through the ranks and create their own legacies, Shaq's mark on the game and on the next generation of players remains undeniable. Shaq's impact is felt by those who follow in his footsteps, particularly the new generation of NBA stars who look to him not just as a basketball icon, but as a mentor and role model. While he may have dominated the court during his time, the lessons he imparted about work ethic, resilience, and how to carry oneself both on and off the court are what continue to resonate with younger athletes. Shaq may not be playing anymore, but his influence shapes the next generation of players. Shaq's impact on current NBA stars. One of the most remarkable aspects of Shaquille O'Neal's post-retirement life is how he shaped the careers of current NBA players. Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis, and DeAndre Jordan are just a few of the players who have cited Shaq as an inspiration and mentor. These athletes look up to Shaq for his dominance, his larger-than-life persona, and his ability to succeed at the highest level. Joel Embiid, in particular, has often drawn comparisons to Shaq. With his physical dominance, size, and ability to control the paint, Embiid has emerged as one of the top centers in the league today. But it's not just the physical similarities that Embiid shares with Shaq, it's the mindset. Embiid has openly talked about how Shaq's confidence and swagger have influenced him both on the court and in his approach to the game. Embiid's dominant performances and his ability to lead the Philadelphia 76ers to playoff contention show how Shaq's legacy continues to shape the way modern centers approach the game. Then there's Anthony Davis, whose partnership with LeBron James helped lead the Los Angeles Lakers to the 2020 NBA championship. Davis, who many consider the future of the Lakers, often credits Shaq for his teachings and mentorship over the years. Shaq, as a player who also started his career with the Lakers, was more than happy to pass down his knowledge. Davis, with his blend of size, skill, and versatility, represents a perfect continuation of Shaq's legacy. Even players like DeAndre Jordan, who has been known for his rim protection and rebounding, have drawn inspiration from Shaq's defensive dominance and his ability to make his presence felt in the paint. The notion of dunking over defenders and controlling the rim is something that Shaq taught these players by example, and they, in turn, are continuing that tradition. Shaq's role as a mentor and leader. Shaquille O'Neal may not be on the court anymore, but his role as a mentor in the NBA is one of the most important aspects of his legacy. Over the years, Shaq has worked directly with many up-and-coming players, offering advice, coaching, and encouragement. He's not just handing down knowledge about basketball, he's teaching the next generation about handling pressure, maintaining humility, and the importance of leadership. In an interview with ESPN, Shaq emphasized the importance of sharing knowledge with the next generation. "I want them to be better than me," he said. "My job isn't just to be a legend on the court, it's to help the next guy come in and be even better." His role as a mentor extends beyond the game itself. He often speaks about the mental toughness and discipline that made him successful and encourages young players to adopt the same principle. Shaq also knows the pressures that come with stardom. The media scrutiny, social media pressure, and the spotlight that comes with being a top player in the NBA can be overwhelming. Shaq often tells young players to stay grounded and remember that basketball is just a part of who they are. He stresses that balancing fame with humility is crucial to lasting success. Shaq's influence beyond the NBA. While Shaq's impact on current NBA players is significant, his influence isn't confined to basketball alone. His entrepreneurial ventures, philanthropic efforts, and personality have shaped how athletes interact with media, fans, and business. Shaq's business ventures and investments show that athletes have the power to create empires outside of their sports careers. Whether it's his Five Guys investments, his ownership of Gold's Gym franchises, or his tech investments in Ring, Shaq has proven that the game isn't just about scoring points, it's about creating lasting opportunities and financial independence. Additionally, Shaq's philanthropy has inspired athletes to use their platform for good. His efforts to give back to the community through his Shaquille O'Neal Foundation, which supports children and families in need, have shown the importance of using wealth and fame to make a positive impact. His work with children's hospitals, education, and youth programs has set the standard for how athletes can be involved in giving back. Finally, Shaq's foray into the media has shown that athletes can transcend their sport entirely and become multi-dimensional public figures. Whether he's in a commercial, on Inside the NBA, or working on a film project, Shaq's ability to stay relevant in a wide range of industries is something that young athletes look to as a blueprint for post-retirement success. A legacy for the ages. In the end, Shaquille O'Neal's legacy will never be just about the dominant center he was on the court. It's about the way he transcended basketball to influence the business world, media, and the next generation of athletes. Shaq's ability to balance humility with confidence, business savvy with generosity, and athletic greatness with mentorship makes him one of the most influential athletes in history. Shaq proved that a true legacy is not just built by championships and records, but by the positive impact you leave on others. He may no longer be dominating the paint, but the mark he's left on the world through his business, mentorship, and philanthropy is more indelible than any NBA stat sheet. So, what do you think? Has Shaq's influence on the game and on future generations? Saul, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Press 1 if you believe Shaq's lasting legacy will continue to inspire generations of athletes, or press 2 if you think his influence will fade over time. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates on Shaquille O'Neal's ongoing journey from sports legend to global icon. In the next chapter, we will reflect on the lessons learned from Shaq's incredible career and what athletes today can take away from his life story. Lessons from Shaq's journey: the power of resilience, leadership, and legacy. When you look back on the life and career of Shaquille O'Neal, one thing stands out above all else: resilience. Shaq wasn't just a dominant force on the court. He was a man who faced adversity, both physically and personally, yet continued to push forward, never letting setbacks define him. His ability to bounce back from injuries, controversies, and personal struggles is what makes his story truly remarkable. Shaquille O'Neal's journey teaches us that greatness isn't just about raw talent or championship ring. It's about how you handle the tough times, how you learn from your mistakes, and most importantly, how you evolve when the world expects you to slow down. Shaq has done all of that and more. He was never content with just being an NBA superstar. He always sought ways to grow, reinvent himself, and leave a lasting mark. Resilience. Bouncing back from adversity. One of the most defining aspects of Shaq's career was his ability to overcome adversity. Shaq faced numerous injuries throughout his career, but what was truly remarkable was his refusal to let those injuries define him. Despite chronic knee pain, foot problems, and the wear and tear of playing professional basketball for nearly 2 decades, Shaq kept coming back. Even after his retirement, Shaq's health struggles didn't deter him. His battles with painkiller addiction, mental health, and the physical toll of his career could have led him down a darker path. But Shaq did something few would have expected. He confronted these challenges head on. Shaq didn't shy away from his issues. He faced them publicly, talking about his struggles with depression, his weight loss, and his efforts to improve his health. This vulnerability allowed him to connect with fans on a deeper level, showing them that even legends have to fight to stay strong. Leadership. The ability to guide and inspire. Another key lesson from Shaq's career is the importance of leadership. Shaq wasn't always the most selfless player on the court, especially early in his career. He was dominant and often overshadowed his teammate. But as his career progressed, Shaq evolved into a true leader. Whether it was with the Los Angeles Lakers, the Miami Heat, or the Phoenix Suns, Shaq learned how to lead a team not just by his physical dominance, but by his character. Shaq's leadership went beyond basketball IQ. It was about how he motivated his teammates, how he brought them together in times of crisis, and how he carried the team when things got tough. His partnership with Kobe Bryant may have been contentious at times, but when it mattered, Shaq was there to lead the Lakers to 3 consecutive championships. In Miami, he helped lead the Heat to their first ever title in 2006, cementing his legacy as a player who could deliver when his team needed him the most. But Shaq's leadership wasn't just about basketball. Off the court, he became a mentor to younger players, teaching them not just about the game, but about how to navigate the pressures of fame, expectations, and success. Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis, and other players have spoken about how much Shaq has influenced their careers, offering advice on everything from playing the game to handling personal struggles. This guidance is one of Shaq's greatest legacies. He wasn't just a great player, he was a great leader who helped shape the future of the game. Legacy. More than just basketball? Shaquille O'Neal's legacy isn't confined to his accomplishments on the basketball court. His ability to reinvent himself after retirement is one of the most impressive aspects of his career. While many former athletes fade into obscurity, Shaq's journey post-basketball has been a testament to the power of entrepreneurship, media influence, and giving back to the community. Shaq's business ventures, from owning Five Guys franchises to his investments in tech companies like Ring, show that he is far more than just a retired athlete. He's a business mogul who has built a financial empire that extends beyond basketball. His entrepreneurial success has paved the way for future athletes, showing them that there's life after sports and it can be just as rewarding. Shaq's media career has also cemented his status as a cultural icon. As a co-host on Inside the NBA, he has become a staple of sports commentary, known for his wit, humor, and insightful analysis. But it's his role as an entertainer that has made him a household name. From his commercials to his appearances in films, Shaq has always known how to keep himself relevant and loved by the public. Perhaps one of the most lasting aspects of Shaq's legacy is his philanthropy. His foundation, along with his various charitable endeavors, has touched countless lives. Shaq didn't just give money, he invested his time and energy into causes that mattered to him, especially youth education, children's hospitals, and homelessness. His commitment to giving back shows that his true legacy is not just about the physical championships, but the positive impact he's had on the lives of others. The takeaway: what we can learn from Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal's journey teaches us a lot about resilience, leadership, and legacy. It shows us that greatness isn't just about what we achieve in the spotlight. It's about how we overcome challenges, how we adapt to change, and how we use our platform to make a difference in the lives of others. Shaq's life also teaches us the value of self-reinvention. Just because you're great at one thing doesn't mean you can't excel at others. Whether it's business, entertainment, or philanthropy, Shaq has shown us that our legacy is built on our ability to adapt and evolve. Shaq may have been a dominant force on the court, but his legacy off the court is just as significant. His story is a masterclass in perseverance, and it's a reminder that even after the final buzzer sounds, there's always another chapter to be written. So, what do you think? What's the most important lesson you've learned from Shaq's journey? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Press 1 if you believe Shaq's true legacy is his ability to overcome adversity and inspire others, or press 2 if you think his on-court dominance will always be what defines his legacy. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights into Shaquille O'Neal's incredible life and the lessons we can all learn from his story. Stay tuned for more. Shaq's lasting legacy, a global icon who transcended basketball. Shaquille O'Neal's story is far from over. Even though his basketball career has long since come to an end, as we reflect on his journey, it's clear that Shaq's legacy is more than just about what he achieved on the court. It's about how he used his platform to inspire, mentor, and empower others, and how he reinvented himself after retiring from the game. When you think about Shaquille O'Neal, what immediately comes to mind? The player who dominated the NBA with his size, strength, and skills? The 3-time Finals MVP and 4-time NBA champion? Or do you think of the Shaq Diesel persona, the media mogul, and the businessman who has built an empire beyond basketball? Whatever you think of first, one thing is clear. Shaq's impact on the world goes far beyond the basketball court. Shaq's global influence, beyond the court. Even after stepping away from basketball, Shaquille O'Neal has remained a global icon. His influence extends far beyond the world of sports, reaching into entertainment, business, and social impact. Whether it's his role as a host on TNT's Inside the NBA, his work with children's hospitals, his investments in various companies, or his passionate work with philanthropic causes, Shaq's presence in the world today is as powerful as ever. Shaq didn't just retire to a life of leisure. Instead, he used his fame and influence to create a new legacy, one that transcended basketball. In fact, one could argue that Shaq's post-NBA career has been just as impressive as his time in the league, if not more so. His ventures in business, his role as a media personality, and his ongoing philanthropic efforts have cemented him as a multifaceted legend. Shaq has invested in tech startups, restaurant franchises, fitness chains, and real estate, building a diversified portfolio that shows he's not just a former player cashing in on his fame, he's a true business mogul who continues to make his mark on the world. The true meaning of legacy: giving back. While Shaq's business ventures and media career are noteworthy, it's his philanthropy that truly defines the lasting impact he'll have on future generations. Shaquille O'Neal's foundation has raised millions of dollars for children's education, youth empowerment, and healthcare. His deep commitment to giving back reflects his understanding of what it means to use his success for the greater good. Shaq has often spoken about his own childhood experiences and the role that community support played in his own journey. He knows that without the help of others, he wouldn't have made it to where he is today. As a result, he's made it a point to give back at every opportunity, whether it's through supporting underprivileged children, mentoring young athletes, or donating to disadvantaged communities. Shaq's legacy is one of service and leadership. Mentoring the next generation, Shaquille O'Neal's influence on today's NBA is undeniable. While he may no longer be playing, his mentorship is helping to shape the careers of younger players. Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis, DeAndre Jordan, and many others have all credited Shaq with guiding them both on and off the court. He's shown that greatness isn't just about talent, it's about character, work ethic, and responsibility. Shaq's mentorship extends beyond basketball. He's a mentor in life, helping young athletes navigate the challenges of fame, pressure, and expectations. His willingness to share his wisdom and experience ensures that his impact will be felt for years to come. Whether it's on Instagram, through his TV appearances, or in private conversations with players, Shaq's influence on the next generation is profound. The enduring legacy of Shaquille O'Neal, as Shaq continues to build on his already legendary career, one thing is clear. His legacy is not just defined by what he accomplished on the basketball court, but by how he used his platform to make a difference. His journey is one of resilience, growth, and giving back, a story that will continue to inspire generations of athletes and individuals alike. Shaq's impact reaches far beyond his 4 NBA titles. He has redefined what it means to be a global icon, showing us that the true measure of greatness is not just how many championships you win, but how you use your influence to create positive change. His story isn't just about basketball, it's about resilience, leadership, entrepreneurship, and legacy. And for that, Shaquille O'Neal will always be remembered as one of the most influential athletes in the history of sport. So, what do you think? What has Shaq's journey taught you about legacy, resilience, and leadership? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Press 1 if you believe Shaq's true legacy is in his work off the court, or press 2 if you think his basketball dominance will always be his defining feature. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights on Shaquille O'Neal and the incredible athletes who are reshaping the world both on and off the court. Thank you for following along. This concludes our series on Shaquille O'Neal, a true icon whose legacy will continue to inspire for generations to come. Let me know if you want to dive deeper into any aspect of his life or legacy.